You want to talk about Arcane? Watch Arcane.
Thanks for listening.
No, it's on Netflix. It's actually like one of the best like animated series to come out in a very long time. Like critically,
I don't know. In my circle, it's very slept on. And I don't understand why.
that's like if you're a fan of like, good writing, like
well, it's like great writing, good music, beautiful visually. Yeah.
it's on Netflix. Tommy got me into it last week
After forever.
because when did that first season come out?
I don't know. That's a good question. So let's see.
Well, season 2 is airing as of right now, and they're doing it in 3-episode blocks, so you can't binge all of it all at once, which I appreciate.
Started in 2021.
Okay, that makes sense. And this is going to be the last season.
Yeah, and that's what I like too.
Yeah.
I like that they're just gonna wrap
2
up.
and done.
But since it is based on League of Legends, they could continue and do another in the world of kind of thing. And I think that would be the best way to do it. Just do these little snippets of the world. That'd be kind of cool. And then maybe have like reoccurring characters every now and then, like depending on what happens in this season, who lives and who doesn't. I don't think it's going to go well for a lot of our people.
I don't know anything about the League of Legends lore.
I don't either, but it doesn't feel like we're going to end on a good note. This is Tommy.
This is Jake.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Okay.
Morning, putts. Schmuck.
Schmuck, is that what he calls
Or
him?
moron.
Moron.
See, that's friendship goals for me. Them.
Yeah, well, even with that, them supposed to be feuding, I'm like, they just seem like friends. They don't really seem the way they talk to each other.
Yeah, because they are lifelong friends.
Welcome to episode 216. We are finishing off our Golden Years block with 1993's Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah. I feel like it's a good end to it.
Yes. Grumpy Old Men, for those of you who haven't seen it, because it is kind of...
It's older. And kind of a... not...
I feel like if you know it, you know it.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men is about two lifelong feuding neighbors fight over the affections of a woman who moves in next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take that right off of IMDb?
I just wrote that just now.
Because that's exactly almost verbatim IMDb.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
A lifelong feud between two neighbors since childhood only gets worse when a new female neighbor moves in across the street. It's different.
It's almost exactly.
No, it's not.
It's not verbatim, but it's the same fucking sentence.
Well, we're talking about the same fucking thing. So I would hope so. Two aliens find themselves, watched a very different movie. But yes, Grumpy Old Men was released December 25th, 1993. We kind of
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I just think that's kind of I feel like this is a good Christmas Day movie with a family.
Kind of depressing Christmas movie, but
what are you talking about? Has a happy ending.
Okay. I'm becoming one of those people that find Christmas depressing.
I mean, it is.
So,
but this would help make it not depressing.
No, it didn't work that way for me. But yeah, I missed something. Oh, we decided to Grumpy Old Men because it does take place in winter, in Thanksgiving.
It goes through the holiday season.
It goes through the holiday season. It's not a holiday movie.
No.
It's, it's just happens to be around the time.
Yeah.
And we thought that was good because we're kind of leading in to that.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving coming up, or happy
Turkey Day.
Yeah.
Doyle.
Happy Colonialist Day.
Boyle. Not Doyle.
Boyle.
So yeah, if that's something you celebrate, happy...
I call it Friendsgiving because it's all about hanging out with friends and being thankful for them.
What did you say? Happy Colonist Day?
Yeah.
That just registered. So let's get into
Well, I mean, you hadn't seen it. Did you enjoy it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I think this is a very interesting time period for comedy movies in general.
It is, yes.
Because I like the era, especially in something like this that is slapsticky and not overly offensive. Because also in this time period, it was kind of cutesy and slapsticky and light, or it was kind of like, say it.
I dare you to say it.
I dare you to say it, you know. I'll give you
$10,000 to say it.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, and I totally blanking. I had a couple different examples that I should have written down that kind of.
Well, Ace Ventura is in this time period.
Yeah, and there's a good one of just kind of I dare you to say it kind of comedy.
You know, what's interesting with it, like I remember I liked this a lot when I was a kid, and I think it was just like because I've always been a fan of slapstick and goofy, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck type shit. You know?
Looney Tunes.
Yeah. And I thought it was, charming for it to be two elderly men being that's the central of it, and pretty sure as a kid, I'm like, it's like if my grandpa was like this, But it's also interesting is kind of like this duo and like it has that feeling of old school comedy of like the 60s, 70s, and 80s and presented in the early 90s lens.
Yeah. Sorry, I was opening up some reference points.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what it was.
That's what it was targeting to do because of our leads.
I was kind of going back into what you were asking about me liking it or not.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I really liked. I'm trying to remember his name. Jack. I really liked Jack a lot.
Grandpa?
No, Jack Lemmon.
Oh, John Lennon's character.
John. I really liked
John. Yeah.
I really liked John. Didn't really like Max.
Yeah.
And because Max was kind of because even I was talking to my mom that we were gonna do this movie, and I was like, yeah, it's Grumpy Old Men, and I don't know if she remembered it or not, but she just went, what a god awful title. Like she was like, no. And then I was thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, because it is kind of like John is kind of endearing and sweet, and then Max is just kind of the guy, and I found him kind of rough to watch.
He was, but that's also very much the trope of the two. You have the more sweet, artistic. He's the teacher. He's he's the well polished guy, and then the rough around the edges guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's kind of their shtick that they always did together since The Odd Couple too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
I've never seen The Odd Couple.
I've never seen their version of it. I've seen theater productions of it.
Well, there's also
then there was the TV series.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was the TV series that they spawn off from the Neil Simon Show in the 60s. I don't think it starred them.
Well,
then there was the newer one with Matthew Perry
and Thomas Lennon.
Yeah,
which
I think it lasted like 4 or 5 seasons.
Really, I've never even heard of it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the.
That was like Matthew Perry's like last thing, I want to say.
Well, it's just because they're in 17 again. Matthew Perry and him are best friends.
Are they?
Yeah,
I don't remember
when Matthew Perry character when Matthew Perry turns into Zac Efron goes to live with him, and he's his dad.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, it's like for the.
I just remember Zac Efron hitting on Leslie Mann constantly.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I would.
Leslie Mann.
Way to go, Judd Apatow.
But yeah, I was like, oh, that's where they did this whole. It's kind of basically Zac Efron turns back into Matthew Perry. And it doesn't work out still, and now he just has to live with that guy. I don't know. Sorry.
I actually kind of want to watch that movie again.
What, 17 again?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's great. For like a body swap,
yeah.
8, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Like Zac Efron, but we know that Zac Efron has really great comedy chops.
Yeah.
From like Baywatch and Dirty Grandpa and
I mean, Neighbors.
He's funny.
Yeah.
And this was, I think, like at the beginning of seeing that,
because everybody was thinking he was going to be the High School Musical
guy. Yeah, but he was really funny.
I just recently, this is a huge side tangent.
Yeah, we'll get back on in a second. Sorry.
I just found out that in the first High School Musical, the singing voice for Troy, that's not Zac Efron.
Okay.
Because Zac Efron is a baritone and he couldn't hit the high notes that Troy was doing in the first one. So they have someone, he's lip syncing to someone else in the first one, and then they rewrote the music for Zac Efron in the following ones. Things you learn on Wikipedia. You're like, I don't care. I've never watched a High School Musical movie in my life, so
I just like the High School Musical videos where they take out the music.
Oh, those are funny.
They're really funny.
Those are really funny.
I couldn't realize a lane of comedy. Yeah, a lane of comedy I really like is taking the music out of things.
Yeah,
that is one of Elvis.
And you just hear his shoes.
Yeah,
squeaking. Okay, who directed this movie? Grumpy Old Men.
Donald Petrie. Donald Petrie is known for such things as Mystic Pizza, Richie Rich, My Favorite Martian, the remake, which I really enjoy, and Miss Congeniality. Yeah. I like their stuff.
Yeah, same. I wrote down like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. And we were just talking about that.
Yeah, and then I told you that he showed up on that podcast. Yeah. Randomly. I was like, oh, wow, a lot of Matthew McConaughey happening right now in my life.
Yeah, Donald Petrie. A handful of stuff that, grew up kind of enjoying watching. Also, a lot of television I saw. More like in the late 2000s, like Chicago Hope and like, I think Grey's Anatomy, like procedural.
Yeah. The Krasinski Method.
What is that?
It's an aging actor who long enjoyed a brush with fame, makes a living as an acting coach. It's Ant-Man. He's got the raspy voice. What's his name? The original Ant-Man, Pym.
Are you talking about Michael Douglas?
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
Okay.
It's Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a getting older and dealing with it. They're like best friends, and he used to be in kind of more in the limelight actor, and it's a dramedy.
BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. It's kind of that vibe, but dramedy. It's really good.
That's what BoJack Horseman is.
Yeah, and it's got Alan Arkin, which we both like Alan Arkin.
Oh yeah. And then this was written by someone who has had a very interesting writing career, Mark Steven Johnson. Right?
Well, okay.
I was like, what?
All right. So Johnson is known for the sequel,
Grumpy Old Men.
The sequel, Grumpy Old Men. Jack Frost.
That's Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton dies.
Becomes a snowman.
And becomes a snowman to help his son deal with his death.
Yeah. Simon Birch.
I remember loving that as a kid.
Simon Birch, which is...
I don't know Simon Birch.
Little like a kid born with like a deformity that he kind of has like little person mixed syndrome mixed with a bunch of other shit. But like it's about Simon Birch affecting this town because he's special. It's narrated by Jim Carrey.
What year is this?
1995. Maybe
I was
96.
like, I need to look at this real quick. Oh, that's a terrifying poster. Did you see the poster?
I think I have.
It's a lake, and there's hands coming out holding a newborn baby
over
the water.
I just imagine to see Simon Birch's face.
No, it's like a horror movie, and it's like it's got this red tinge to it. Doesn't fit with comedy, drama, family. Oh, I'm gonna save this real quick because this is something I want to check out.
But yeah, and then went on to write Daredevil and Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I mean, the one I made a note of was Christopher Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Because that movie made me cry. I haven't watched it since because it hit me.
Is that the Ewan McGregor one?
Yeah. It's really sweet. I was expecting, Winnie the Pooh, woo, and it just hit me so hard. I mean, I was a little,
Yeah. I mean.
2 sheets. Can't see without his glasses. Anyways,
but yeah, no, Mark Steven Johnson, I mean, this was his first writing credit, and it just kind of like comes out of nowhere to be like, wait, Daredevil goes like, what? And
yeah.
And he's executive producer on Elektra and shit, just like, Like to see that this was the first movie that he wrote, and then where he goes in his career. Like, I mean, hey, the guy's got fucking range for writing, but
I mean, but I would stay out of the superhero business.
Yeah. I wonder how much that was actually manipulated by studios, though, as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he had a really good, or a decent screenplay for both.
I mean, I still to this day, I mean, I haven't watched it in 8 million years, but I liked the Daredevil movie. I liked Affleck as Daredevil.
He wasn't bad as Daredevil. That script is insufferable.
I mean, I do remember the Colin Farrell bullseye bit.
And he was such a naughty good bullseye. You see, there's so many things that I watched Colin Farrell in that made me not like Colin Farrell. And then I just missed all of the good stuff.
Yeah, you missed all the good stuff.
I missed all of the good stuff.
He's got a lot of good stuff.
And somehow I watched only the bad stuff. And I'm just like, why does everybody like this guy?
Because he's a great actor.
Because he's horrendous.
Because he makes terrible decisions with his career. I think he's... I don't know. That also felt like young him,
Yeah. Oh,
but
very much
now that he's
so,
kind of older, I think he's more zeroed in.
Like, what sold me? Horrible Bosses is actually what sold me with him.
Going around in his little chair thinking he's better than everyone.
So yeah, I mean, pretty simple. Donald and Mark, writer and director. This movie seems pretty straightforward with that. It's really more about who's starring in this movie. That is what this movie's all about. Because we got Jack Lemmon.
Oh wait, real quick. How many movies do you see?
Like around 34-ish is what I counted.
All right. Yes.
You're not going to share your number?
Oh, I mean, yeah, if you want to know. 29.
Okay, I mean, you asked.
I know, I'm just kidding. We forgot about the game. Anyway.
Oh, that reminds me of another game. Mm-hmm. Connections. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that.
Why don't you end off with that?
Sure.
That'll be...
yeah.
Okay. You'll have to explain it again. Yes.
Jack Lemmon.
Who plays John. He passed away in 2001. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know his career. He's a little too out of my...
I've seen Some Like It Hot, and I'm familiar with him as from The Odd Couple and then like 12 Angry Men and stuff. But yeah, he's definitely much like... I mean, he's a different generation of acting, as with, his co-star in this, Walter Matthau, who plays Max. Who maybe people our age would recognize Walter Matthau as the old neighbor from Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
If they remember Dennis the Menace. But he's also the coach in the original Bad News Bears.
Oh, he is? He's Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You see what type of character Walter Matthau Jenny plays? Yeah. And them together, they have been in 10 movies together. Through their entire acting career.
Yeah.
The Odd Couple 2 in 1998. Out to See This. It's interesting as they have a bunch of stuff together sporadically throughout the years, and then I feel like this spawned where they're kind of in their twilight years together. They're best of friends. They in real life, it's documented that they were best friends. Oh. And then it's just kind of they're in their 70s, late 60s, early 70s, let's just finish off our career with a bunch of stuff together. I love working with you. You're my best friend. So in the 90s, they did Grumpier Old Men, Out to Sea, and The Odd Couple 2.
Yeah.
And it's just I just think that's really cool, And and what's interesting is you look at they kind of play Felix and Oscar. Those are the two characters in Odd Couple. They pretty much play those characters in every movie that it is. They're pretty much Felix and Oscar in this. Out to Sea, I have a vague memory of. The Odd Couple 2, they're just doing those characters again,
Yeah. I kind of want to watch The Odd Couple.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The show or the OG movie?
The OG movie. Just to see them younger and, kind of in their prime and just kind of get a vibe for it.
I'd be down to watch that, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Neil Simon. He wrote it. But yeah, so it's Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau who are grumpy old men in this. And then the woman who moves in across the street that stirs up their old lives is Ann-Margret, who plays Ariel. Yeah, Ariel. Ann-Margret, who
excuse me,
became a huge icon in the 60s. Was in a movie called Carnal Knowledge with Jack Nicholson. Bye Bye Birdie. She wasn't like the lead in Bye Bye Birdie, but she was a big part of Bye Bye Birdie. But yeah, I think it was Bye Bye Birdie is what, maybe it was Carnal. Oh no, she just became a huge icon in the 60s.
And she's also in the Krasinski Method.
Oh, is she? Oh, cool.
She's in 2 episodes of that. Yeah, it seems like towards the later part of her career, a lot of TV. Excuse me.
It makes sense. And like, actually, that kind of like connects. Like, one of the main reasons I kind of wanted to do this Golden Years block is because I feel like so much, like Red would have actually fit perfectly in this. Now that I think about
Retired and Extremely Dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like a lot of Hollywood and a lot of movies, it's so much about like young people and their journeys, and older actors, they start to get, they start to fade away into the, and it's like they're not the main sought out people for like the main cast type thing. So,
well, yeah, it's, you get to a certain age and then now you're a grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like that's kind of all the story you have left is to be grandma number 1 or 2.
Exactly.
So I think that, yeah.
And that's why I wanted to do this block, was like bring out some actors that we probably would never really do.
Anyone else you want to mention?
I was just going to do the shout outs to pretty much everyone else. Burgess Meredith, who plays John's father. He was the coach at Rocky. I was reading in Grumpy Old Men 2, which was filmed like pretty much directly after this, came out in 1995. So I'm assuming, I wouldn't be surprised if there was effects of this even filming this one. He had to have a coach on set to help with his Alzheimer's, to move him through to the next scene type thing, which, getting old. That's what happens. It's sad. And then we got Daryl Hannah, who we did in Blade Runner, who's daughter of Jack Lemmon.
90 years old.
Huh?
He was 90 years old.
Yeah.
He was born in 1907 and died in 1997.
Mm-hmm. Well, so he was like mid-80s filming these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, he died at 90.
Yeah. Kevin Pollak, who we halfway kind of did in Willow. He's one of the fairy or pygmies. Or whatever.
The brownies.
The brownies, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot he was one of the brownies.
Yeah.
You stupid taquini!
Son of Max, Walter Matthau. Then we got Christopher McDonald as
Mike,
Daryl Hannah's ex-husband or whatever. John Carroll Lynch is a quick cameo. I just wanted to call that out because I saw literally the side of his face, and I was like, he's from American Horror Story.
Yeah, and this is actually his first acting career as like mover number 1.
Yeah, and then he went on to probably do and then he was also Drew Carey's brother on the Drew Carey Show. And then Ossie Davis, who I remember,
Chuck.
It's Chuck. Do the Right Thing, which I was so surprised. He is older than Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
He was in Bubba Hotep. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why I thought you brought it up.
No.
Oh, you were looking at the list. Yeah, he's in Bubba Hotep. Yeah, but I would have guessed.
What is his deal? He's a Kennedy, right?
I can't remember that movie very well.
I think he thinks he's John F. Kennedy, and they assassinated, quote unquote, John F. Kennedy, but instead they crippled him and then made him black and then put him in the retirement home.
Wow. Okay.
That's his.
I don't remember Bubba Hotep.
Really?
Well.
Yeah, that's his whole arc, is that he thinks he's John F. Kennedy.
I think that's a movie that I started, I fell asleep, and then I saw the end.
Oh, yeah.
Some of
Bruce
Campbell's B movies don't get me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, my dad showed me that one. I remember liking that one. And then Bruce Campbell thinks he's Elvis.
He is Elvis.
Yeah,
thinks he's Elvis. Yeah, no, it's up for debate.
debate.
I know, yeah. But yeah, no, Ossie Davis. I was really surprised because like while they're like shopping at the bait shop and whatnot, I was saying like they're talking about him being old and whatnot. It's like this guy looks like he's barely 50, and he's older than both of them. Like the actual actor.
Yeah, because he was born in 1917 and died in 2005.
Yeah. I mean, he's, mind you, like 3-5 years older than them respectively ish, but it's just like still, I was like, I would have never guessed that man was near the same age as Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, because I mean they just look old. It's crazy how people in their 60s today don't look as old as like people in their 60s did in like the 80s, you know?
Well, not just like this, like even like Jack seemed more mentally on it than Walter did.
Yeah.
You know, but then Walter kind of looked younger than Jack.
Really?
Yeah, to me.
I don't know. I feel like Walter looked a lot older than Jack.
No, not to me. I didn't think so. It could have been the dyed hair and
maybe, yeah.
Like curved it off a little bit, you know.
I don't know, the saggy skin and the jowls really was like, man, that guy looks like he's 80.
I would love to see him do
So yeah, there's quite a bit of people in this movie. I mean, from all types of generations. Daryl Hannah and Kevin Pollak are kind of like, not even our generation, but like, this is a multi-generational movie. You ready to get into reviews?
Yeah. What are our scores?
Relatively moderately high, actually. I was kind of surprised. I mean, not to say that I thought this movie was going to, would get like review bombed, or not review bombed, but like badly reviewed or anything. But, I wasn't expecting a 7.0 on IMDb.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is definitely a nostalgia quotient is added to that. Or
it might have just like it was kind of like just span of reviews from one period of time.
Yeah.
65% tomato meter rating. That feels a little bit closer. 74 popcorn meter rating. That's where this nostalgia comes in my opinion. Tastes like bacon.
Great. So Metacritic, this has a 53, which comes to mixed or averaged, with 9 positive, 5 mixed, and 2 negative.
See, that makes more sense.
What, a 53?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just keep going.
Okay. So the Toppity Tip Top with an 80 by Karen James at the New York Times. Grumpy Old Men is the kind of holiday movie a lot of people are searching for. It's cheerful, it's well under 2 hours, and it doesn't concern any major social blights, unless you think Jack Lemmon tossing a dead fish into Walter Matthau's car is cause for alarm.
So they consider this a holiday movie.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. So I read that and I was like, oh, is it like a... And then I watched it and I was like, not really.
I mean, I think since it does take course over the holidays.
Yeah, but that is also up for debate. That is the big conversation. Just because it happens during Christmas time or holiday season, is it now a holiday movie? Die Hard.
I mean, didn't we say that it was?
I don't remember. It's not... Okay, bad example. I'm not starting that up again. I'm just saying like that, like that.
Because I think what we came down to at the end of Die Hard was that you have your traditional and then your non-traditional.
Yes.
And this would fit into a non-traditional.
Okay. Yeah. But anyways.
Because Lord of the Rings, you say is a holiday movie for you.
I say I watch it during the holidays.
So it's a holiday movie for you. He's going to kill me. He's going to jump across me. He's going to choke me. He's going to stab me with a frozen fish.
You sounded a little excited for it.
I want the fish.
Anyways. So I had 2. Let me see. So one of them was, for mixed, was 50 by Jay Carr at Boston Globe. They wrote, the trouble with Grumpy Old Men is the patronizing attitude, ageism really, that takes a too broad approach to their geriatric world and renders it plastic. It's too cute and sanitized to allow its performers much in the way of opportunity, which I thought was an interesting take on it. Which I was
That's a really hard take.
Yeah, it's it felt really like, and period. You know,
also what the fuck were you expecting? It's like a serious drama piece about 2 old men aging.
Maybe.
It's the lighthearted nature of it. It's called Grumpy Old Men.
No, but then also look at the cast. They're 2 comedic icons. What I just thought that was an interesting kind of ageism about it. But
it's a weird one.
You want to know what our guy said?
Yeah.
He gave it a mix, so let's see.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert gave it a 50. The movie is too pat in practice to really be convincing, and the progress of Ariel's relationships with the two grumps seemed dictated mostly by the needs of the screenplay.
Yes.
But Matthau and Lemmon are fun to see together, if for no other reason than just the essence of their beings.
I was going to bring all of that up. I was going to say a lot of that.
And then the negative, the bottom of the barrel with a 25 by Geoff Pevier at the Globe and Mail Toronto. Grumpy, dopey, and wheezy. And this dispiriting spectacle of feuding codgers, two of the finer comic actors of their generation are reduced to being cute and talking dirty.
Reduced, huh? I mean, they can't really do the physical comedy the same way that they used to, so...
This is interesting. Oh, wait. What is this?
There's actually that scene where John, like, falls off his roof, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, clearly, there's a stuntman doing the fall. But they do have, like, the shot of Jack Lemmon falling and then snow hitting on his face, and it's all one shot. And I remember thinking, like, wow, they really got him to do to do a little bit. Like, he was probably like, I got to do it. Because Jack Lemmon, in his prime, he was a physical comedian. Mm-hmm. He was also a great dramatic actor, too. Like, he's won, like, Tonys and shit. Mm-hmm. And I think, he was nominated in Some Like It Hot. That's a comedy, though. That's a Marilyn Monroe movie. Anywho. But I was just kind of like, when he, like, flips over and the snow falls on his face, I was like, wow, they really, like, even if it was just, like, they held him up 4 inches from the ground and dropped him. Yeah. I was still impressed that that this old man was actually falling and, like, what? I was like, whoa, good for you, man.
Good for you.
Oh, also, apparently Walter Matthau got pneumonia.
Yeah, I saw that.
While filming them fighting on the ice rink.
Yeah.
Did you have any more? You
that was everything.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the ones that stuck out to me.
It was, yeah. One of the biggest problems with the script is the character Ariel. She is, before it was coined a term, she is a manic pixie dream girl.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that for this time period and stuff, they actually had more character than a lot of other times or other examples.
She has a lot of character,
but she is a caricature.
Yes,
but I think for 1993, I'm kind of like, okay, she's. But it's like when we were watching it too, that joke that she's from California.
Yeah.
And she's all new age and
because the Wabasha, Minnesota feel. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's all
free spirit, new agey,
and hippie,
and is an artist,
and into crystals and sage oils.
She's a painter.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that was like this. I don't know, this idea of California as this
the young hip new wave.
Yeah, the new wave of. The voice of generation taking over.
Which even still for this time period is kind of an antiquated take on it. It's almost like there's a little bit of that, but like the way that it's presented, it still feels very like 70s. That's the thing, is that I feel like this script is ripped out of the 70s, 60s, 70s, and then updated for 1990. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, even so, it's like, because Ariel has a lot of character, but her entire presence is just to be a device to divide Max and John. And at the end of the day, her purpose is to make a betterment out of John, bring him out of his shell. You know, she has no growth in this movie.
No, but she doesn't need the growth.
No, but I mean, you want every character to have growth in a good movie, you know?
Yeah, no, but also the issue is it creates a complete superficial film. Yeah.
Which is what the 60s and the 70s were doing with comedy movies like this.
Because it's like it doesn't matter. It becomes that it doesn't matter that it's her. It just becomes a matter of it's a pretty woman living next door. Yeah. And I don't know if I respect it or not in the sense that they don't try to hide that. I feel like it's pretty forthcoming with... Well, it's not trying to be deeper than that.
And that's another thing is like, the audience. Who is this movie for?
Not people our age.
Fans of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
And who were in 1993 were already 50-something, at least 50-something years
maybe
old.
40s.
Because, no, but actually that makes sense, too, because to put Ann-Margret in it, because she was about 50 at this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Still rocking.
Holy shit.
God damn, she is really pretty. And she's like in the sauna and plays in the snow.
She aged. She's aging still like so well, because like I wouldn't have put her over like 45 in this movie.
Oh yeah, no, she looks great, and she still looks great.
Yeah,
but that's actually a really good way to, because that's because they were in their late 60s, pushing 70. Mm-hmm. She's 50, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that crazy of an age gap. At
that age,
really, yeah. When you're in that age, 20 years is a lot. But when you're 50 going to 68, 70, it's depending. It's funny, the age gap shifts depending on where it lies, you know?
Well, it's like, okay, same year, Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Laura Linney, right?
Yeah.
She's like 23, 22.
Uh-huh.
Sam Neill's
like gotta be
40.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
He's also the professor. Let's not forget about that fact. He's the boss man.
She's actually brought up in interviews that in reflection how inappropriate that age gap really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the teacher. I didn't know that.
Oh, that she was that young?
I never really got that. I never really paid attention to their romantic dynamic, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How she's constantly telling him to go off with the kids to show
No, yeah. I got that. I just, they're together. Like, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm here for the dinosaurs. I'm not here for them. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really care about their thing, so I never really paid attention to it. Interesting. Long-winded point I was making is that even putting Ann-Margret and everything, the bombshell model that she was
the 60s,
of the 60s and who she was, and then she's there for the demographic of the people watching it, which I might be wrong about, but I feel pretty confident in thinking that's why they picked her.
Well, the original choice was Eva Landry, Italian actress, who's actually they bring into the second one, grumpier old men, to become Max's love.
But are they around the same age?
She's like the same age as them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that this movie is for a very particular idea of audience.
Yeah, it is. Which is weird for me. I don't know. Maybe it's like old people and then kids, because I feel like there was kids that really enjoyed this movie because of the slapstickiness of it, especially a kid like me.
Yeah, it's because it has that Looney Tune-esque vibe to it. I mean,
without being over the top.
Well, yeah. It's not.
There's the hijinks, it's the feud and the smart mouthness of John and Max through this movie is just it's endearing, really. Like they're constant battling, they're bickering. Schmuck, putz, moron, jackass. And when he throws the ongoing joke of the fish in the car. Trying to get the snow to fall down on him from the awning. The changing the channel during the lottery.
Yeah.
Max and John. I mean, Max is kind of antagonizing John this entire time.
Well, yeah, but because
that's Max's character.
Yeah, but Max thinks that he started it. I didn't really understand the whole.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to understand the feud because
it started.
It's such an old feud. It's kind of like, who really started it?
Well, I mean, John did by taking his girl or whatever.
But did it start before that when they were fishing as kids?
I don't know. I mean,
because
they make a whole point about the.
Yeah, I know. But then there's also him with Ariel in the house, and there's that picture of them as kids fishing, and he says something about, I don't know, maybe I might be projecting something, but yeah, it's like he took his wife, and then John's like, no, you didn't go. Then you wouldn't have found Amy, or whatever the fuck her name is, and and she was the best thing to ever happen to you, and. It's like Max is just jealous that he's getting Ariel at this time. Again, Ariel is just a plot device for these two men to argue.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the like with those hijinks, like also in that moment when they are fighting on the ice, that's a wonderful moment because it's like they're reverted back to just being like kids fighting.
And the dad breaks it up,
and he's like, "I have to separate you two again."
He was giving me such Martin Short vibes.
Dad was?
Yeah,
I could see that.
Like throw Martin Short in some. Well, I guess he's getting to the age now. You may not have to. But yeah, he was giving me really perverted Martin Short. I guess Martin Short
can get really perverted.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, Martin Short is Jiminy Glick, says some pretty off the cuff, pretty random shit. How'd you stop? If you're gonna start again.
It's interesting with this movie is just like I feel like we're kind of at the end talking about it in a way because like I guess the main story is Max and John kind of fighting over Ariel. I guess Max makes John feel bad for seeing Ariel, and then John gives up. You know, the gentleman bows out of the competition.
Yeah, but even that,
and it's like this is a whole. It's like this is an antiquated script because these things maybe somewhat are like, you know, for the 90s, but even for the early 90s feels antiquated.
Well, because there's the whole "she's mine" thing.
Yeah,
and that just didn't. And granted, that I get it.
Well, and even it's like John at some point says like, she chose me, she came to me. It's like because the woman has choice.
That's why it's like I get it. I get what they're doing because that conversation has happened and that conversation still does happen.
Yeah,
where someone feels
ownership
or ownership or owed the love and reciprocation from someone else. It's like it's a pretty human thing to do. You know, to feel you deserve something that maybe you don't, and so on and so forth. But now, just watching it in a movie, it just doesn't sit well anymore.
When it's done in a very like face value, like there's nothing deeper to it.
Yeah, and it's like it kind of, you know, if it was a drama kind of about that, then you'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's the arc of the character. But this old 70-year-old man sitting at a bar yelling at this other old man about how she's mine, you're just kind of sitting there and you're like, kind of losing me here. Because it's the surface. It's the shallow value of it. Mm-hmm. And it's just not very interesting. I mean...
But that's also just kind of what this movie is.
Well, yeah, but...
Great, yeah.
Because, like, you know, like, even... It's different, but, you know, Cocoon had their little love stories and stuff in it, but they just did it really cute because that also wasn't the point of the movie.
Yeah.
That kind of becomes maybe the issue, again, is that we're writing, especially for this era and a little bit after, you know, for a long time, has always been the plot device of man usually, let's be real, you know, in a more heteronormative sense, man needs to get with woman to make movie money.
Yeah.
And that's just as a whole is a very antiquated, cheap way to write something.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you could have written
the forced narrative of man and woman and like in Primal Fear.
Yeah, like that. And you're like, this really doesn't need to be here.
Yeah.
And this kind of thing too. And it, you know, I don't know if the original script even had, maybe it didn't even have an Ariel or maybe a very Ariel on the side kind of thing. And it was something else, but the studio was like, well, no, we have to.
I think that's how the script was written.
Oh yeah.
Because again, I feel like is an homage to this type of stuff that they were doing in the 60s, you know?
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know. I mean, it kind of is interesting in another universe, parallel dimension, you know, what this movie was without her. And again, that comes off as like, I don't want it to come off as get the woman out of there. I mean, just...
But, I mean, her character is integral to John's journey and growth in this movie.
Yeah.
You know? And same with Max, because Max also needs to realize that John actually... Max is looking at her as an object, as a thing, as a desire of just, I need a person, I need a pretty thing to end my life with.
I guess that's fair, because Max is the one that if whoever was living there probably kind of vibe. But it seems like John is the one that actually had some
connection,
real connection with this person.
You know? And
I want to connect with him, Margaret. Sorry, that was an intrusive thought, and I did not catch it in time.
Nice. Nice.
I'm an asshole.
Through this movie, also, just like, I mean, we got to think, like, since it is, older people, there is the inevitability of, of people passing. And their very first conversation in the movie, more or less, is, oh, this person passed away. Oh, yeah, what happened to them? Like, and they're just so casually talking about people that they know kicking the bucket,
That's the thing. That's where it kind of loses me, because those kind of moments, these casual geriatric moments about the things that older people deal with.
That's how I want to go. I'd rather go with a cardiac arrest. Foreshadowing.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of feels like this movie would have been better as a dark comedy.
I mean, it might have originally kind of started out that way.
And they might have livened it up a little bit.
Yeah. Hey. Because, yeah, with Chuck's passing, which is... there's also, like, the soundtrack of this movie is so force-feeding. Like, this is how you're going to feel
this now.
Yeah. Which is a very 90s thing.
Yeah.
Like, they'll repeat every time, like, a sad moment. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
The same fucking sound every single time.
Yeah.
But, like, this whole setup of, like, John having, like, the lead up to him having a heart attack on Christmas Eve, is like kind of the setup through the entire movie for then Max to be faced with, well, what is he, friend or family?
That was a funny moment. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was a funny moment.
It's a touching moment to me because I see that internal, like, clock ticking for Max, and Walter Matthau is a wonderful actor. Just kind of sitting there having that realization, like, this old fucking fool is family to me, actually. God damn it.
I didn't want it. Well, yeah.
Not like in a begrudging way.
No, yeah.
But he's just like sitting there and he's like, friend.
I mean, I think the best moment was the what? So what? What?
So, did you?
What? That was funny.
That's a meme or like a reel somewhere for like for stuff. I want to find it again.
Okay,
you and your best friend after having a couple of beers or something.
What? So what? What? So
did
what?
You?
What?
Did what? All right. I guess like for you, I want to ask you this. Does Max redeem himself? Here are his actions. All superficial as they may be. Jesus.
I know, right?
As superficial as they may be. He gives up Ariel.
Oh, good. How big of him?
He, with his son Jacob, get rid of all of the interest and back taxes from his wife.
Yeah.
And pays the $13,000 off of those back taxes as well. And is fighting for, is like prevents the IRS from taking his stuff in the house, his own personal hijinks. He does a lot for John at the end, but does he redeem himself?
You can't ask me. I'm petty and hold a grudge. Like a long one.
Is this our future? Is that going to be us living next door?
A lifelong
I'm going to do one thing and you're going to be fucking throwing fish in my car all year long?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess
in a movie sense?
In a movie sense, yes.
Yes.
In a movie sense, yes. I think what it was though too is that for me, just as this particular audience member, pretty much the second I met Max, I did not like him. Mm-hmm. He was just, he was that, like
he's kind of like the unlikable blue collar worker.
Well, yeah, like my mom and I always say, you can get older, just don't become an asshole.
Yeah.
And he was just becoming an asshole. He was old and crotchety and backs,
That was really good. That was a good moment.
I just completely derailed myself. But yeah, I think that's what it is though. It's like he was already from the get-go unlikable to me, and then he just made it worse to the very end of his redemption arc.
It's like even like because it's just the dirtiness of him making John feel bad for him to yell at Ariel about, he's like, I don't want you over here, like that's all spawning from Max.
Well, yeah, but also he's a grown-ass man. He should be able to
have an adult conversation
and be like, hey, so he made me, our neighbor.
Yeah, your friend
made me feel weird about us being romantic. So
yeah,
now it's out there. What do you think about that?
But do men in their 70s and the early 90s talk about their feelings?
No. Do 30-year-old men now with emotional stunted growth do that? Not very well.
Try to.
Now good at it. Not good. But even I was like, that's a little out of left field, Poor, she's like, I got a gift for you.
I painted an angel. Get out of my fucking house.
Like, takes it, puts it over her, and then, like, Looney Tunes, Like,
I say, get out of my house. Okay, so we have, because this is what the characters needed, though, and that's the thing that I feel makes this movie enjoyable to watch and worth a watch, no matter how shallow it is that you have John, who, regardless of the IRS and all that stuff, he needs to come out of his shell. He's guarded off,
Yeah.
And Ariel is there to make him feel alive again, as Chuck says. It's like, I felt young again, if only for a moment,
It kind of feels like Ariel's poisoning these fuckers. Well, she hung out with Chuck and then he died.
And then John starts having
yeah.
But I mean, Max is all fun. And that's when she's with Max. Anywho, I see your joke, but I see the flaw too.
Well, I don't know. It's just kind of, it's like, I was watching it. It's like, man, you could actually turn this suddenly into like a comedy horror movie. That she's actually a Black Widow.
That's not almost. It's similar to the storyline of Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh, I was gonna say Addams Family, Joan Cusack.
Oh yeah.
It's like you could turn it really quickly. You could flip this on its head real fast.
So, and John's whole journey is to, open up, become lively again. And Max's journey is to
let it the fuck go.
Yeah, let it go. And, not be so crotchety, not be so about it. Because even once he starts kind of like standing up for John, there is a different life to Max as well. Did you notice that?
Yeah, no, he has it's what it kind of is.
It's like it's come to Jesus moment.
It has a purpose.
Yeah. And he needs to be faced with, they're talking so casually about people dying all the time to when it finally comes to someone that he cares about.
Close to
the reality of it is then there,
Yeah. Sorry.
And then it's like, I gotta cherish these final moments I have with who's essentially my brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
It looked like your brain put something together there.
It was trying to. ran out of tape.
It's like two south magnets trying to connect. I kind of want to watch Grumpy Old Men now. It just kind of finishes it all together.
Yeah.
Together companion pieces.
Yeah, totally.
I guess so. We have in all this, and then the side story of like their kids growing up together, and
the parents wanting them to hook up.
Yeah, I love John every time. Hey, Jakey, what's up, man? Yeah. What's her? I can't remember her name.
Oh, Daryl
Hannah's character. He's like, she's gonna be over tonight if you want to swing by.
Melanie.
Melanie.
God, new glasses.
Also, how do you see that like the beginning Mela, and you're like, Melaine?
I can't read it.
You see Mel, and I would think of Melanie immediately. I'm now coming at you.
Yeah.
Hey, Jakey, how you doing? Yeah, no, Melanie's going to be over tonight for dinner if you wanted to swing by and just say hi.
It's just computer screen. It's just screens.
Cool.
I can read, like in my book, I can read fine, but it's just
the light. It's the light.
Yeah.
You're sensitive to light. You're very sensitive to light.
Yeah.
You need to get those those glasses for lights.
Blue lights, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have any more thoughts about the movie?
Not really. I don't know. It's kind of, not to be insulting or anything, but just for my personal taste, this is kind of a blip.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
On our review list.
I mean, obviously it's nostalgic for me. A kid, I watched this a lot when I was younger. I think I had it like on one of my recorded VHSs. I think I had this and Grumpy Old Men right next, back to back. So when I was thinking about the Golden Years block, I think actually, no, it was a while ago, sitting at home, Grumpier Old Men was playing on TV. And I thought like, oh, a Golden Years block would be a fun thing to do because these are actors we would never really ever do.
Well, and with the whole theme of the holiday-esqueness to it, if we were all hanging out and getting dinner ready, like Christmas dinner or something like that, put this on in the background and just kind of casually watch it as doing things.
Because it's inoffensive.
Yeah.
It might have its direct audience or its target audience being a specific generation of like people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, in the 90s, but it's kind of for everyone.
Yeah, but also I feel like I wouldn't say for everyone, but I think especially with people 80s and 90s people, there is something very familiar about the entire style of the movie. So it's very nostalgic and easy to digest because it is the things that we have watched our whole life. Yeah. And so, yeah, like just having it on in the background and kind of occasionally popping in to check in on our old
and it definitely
farts.
Like it ages itself super hard for early 90s with the commercials that they keep showing. Like I remember all of those commercials, which was crazy.
The music.
Yeah, no, the montage of Too Sexy.
Oh, them getting ready for their date.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny though, because at least, we were talking about that with Cocoon and the music really aging Cocoon. It was kind of like that, but I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt is such an iconic song that has made its rounds even into more modern movies. Yeah. It was kind of weird. I was like, that actually, because it kind of had a longer, it has a longevity to it, that makes it okay. But like it was saying with Batman, that random ass Prince music that were kind of really on that movie and never really popped off after that. Yes. It'd be different if it was Purple Rain. You'd be like, okay, well, Purple Rain was a hit. And, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, oh, it still ages it, but it's not as like jarring because...
Well, it's like that song already probably by this time has already been used in so many montages.
Well, yeah, but but what I'm saying is also now through the 2000s, it was used in the 2000s and it was, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's familiar, so it's not as jarring, Like all that 80s music in Cocoon, you're like, can we calm down with the synth? Like, everyone, stop with the synthesizing. It's too much synth. Too much. I'm too sexy for your mama.
It's such a weird song.
It is really bizarre.
It's such a weird song.
It's really, really, really bizarre.
I am a model, if you know what I mean.
It's like a joke SNL song.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you hear it in a joke movie, like an ad in Tropic Thunder or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel real, but you're like, no, that was a top hit. Yeah. I feel that way about a lot of the songs in Wedding Singer.
Like the original song?
Just 80 songs in general. Like that era, just every now and then you just hear a song and you're like, oh yeah, that was a hit. That was a hit. Like that really spoke to people for some reason.
White Wedding.
Yeah, it's funny that movie, Wedding Singer, has ruined White Wedding for me.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, it's weird for a specific reason. Like this is totally off topic, but just for a specific reason. When they're showing that Billy Idol clip of that music video, the kid's chasing the other kid as Freddy Krueger, and he goes, "I'm gonna get you and chop you up." When I hear White Wedding, I hear the kid saying that. It's like the weirdest thing. My brain just made this really concrete connection.
This association.
Yeah, between those two things. So whenever you say that, I hear that, "I'm gonna get you and cut you up," and it's the weirdest.
It's just like I bring up Billy Idol.
That's what I think of.
And immediately you go White Wedding, and then you go, "I'm gonna cut you up."
Wedding singer, little mini Freddy Krueger. It's like the weirdest thought train that's consistent. You know what I mean? It's consistently happening in my life, and it's. Can we get rid of it?
Sever the tie. Sever the connection.
Luckily, we're not in the 80s. So I'm not. Billy Idol's not really in my life very often at this.
I'm gonna start playing Billy Idol all the time now.
Hey, you want to go to that White Wedding?
All right. What are you giving the movie?
2.5, 2.5.
Yeah.
Well, because I just as we were talking was going through, and I was like, Cocoon 2.5. That still fits now that we're finishing the block. Fragrant Tomatoes 3, yeah, and then Bucket List 2.5, which I do kind of maybe feel like that's a little generous now, but we're not going back. But okay, story wise is a 2, acting wise is a 2.5 because they're two icons, you know.
Bucket List, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this had the potential of pushing to get towards a 3, but the superficiality of everything. Because the things they are talking about, and I haven't really thought about it long enough to have an opinion about how you could tweak it, but if you just tweaked it a little more to actually have some more weight, and actually say something about this stuff,
and a lot more writing on it, like on the events that are happening, because
give Ariel a little bit more autonomy.
Yeah, and it's one of those, if you didn't know about the sequel, that would have been helpful, because obviously I knew about the sequel, so John having a heart attack didn't scare me like it was supposed to.
Fair, yeah.
Which is fair to know, but even the whole vibe of the movie, having him die would have been really weird.
Yeah.
So I would like to guess that I wouldn't have thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
To begin with. But, yeah, if there was a little more...
The sequel is his ghost. What are you talking about?
Use the pole. Get the fish. Just imagine him, like, you know, just Jedi ghost in it.
Hey, moron, use the pole.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. If it wasn't if it's just not as shallow as it is, still it's a fun slapsticky movie. It's pretty shallow, which is fine, but if it could use a little more emotional. Yeah.
But it's like,
levity.
Then like the structure of the script is really sound in sense of like how
beat to beat.
It beats beat to beat.
The pacing.
The pacing is great, and also I love the way the passage of time happens, because it's not like Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, blah blah blah. It's like, oh hey, Merry Christmas. Oh, now we know it's around Christmas time.
Yeah, like it isn't just suddenly, you know, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, and they're like, oh, now it's Christmas time.
Yeah,
you know, they baked it in well enough. And
a really good swerve at the end, because they're at the church and everybody's wearing all black.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, did somebody die? Who died? And then lo and behold, it's Ariel and John's wedding.
Yeah, well, they're implying that John didn't make it through the heart attack. Yeah. So you're supposed it was a good fake out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it looks like that there's going to be a funeral happening, and lo and behold, it's a wedding, and then
they're left.
There are outtakes.
Yeah.
Which I wish would come back.
It just depends on the director and
when's the last time you saw outtakes? Like actual modern day outtakes?
I don't know. But I think
Rush Hour.
No, I feel like I saw maybe
an Apatow.
Due Date?
That might be right. I don't remember. I mean, Due Date's fucking hilarious. But.
Yeah, it is.
His dad's in the coffee. His dad is in the fucking coffee can.
Get
him out. Get him out.
Why would you drink it again? I don't know.
See what I'm dealing with? 5 minutes of this, right? You already want to kill him? Get him out. Get him out right now.
Oh, God.
That's a great movie. Yeah, I would say a 2.5.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thumbs up on 2.5. The last 10 minutes have been not about the movie.
No. All right, so we're going to let you go now because we're obviously completely spiraling.
Keep going. I'm trying to think of a two.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm trying really hard to fart.
Yeah, it's like I don't particularly want you to end an episode like that, but all right.
I just shit my pants.
And I was avoiding saying that phrase. Anyways, can you get it together so I can do the outro? All righty.
Never.
So thank you for listening to episode 216 of Grumpy Old Men. We gave it a 2.5 out of 5 carrots. We will be actually next week. We're going to be taking a break from the movie reviews, and we're going to do one of our old banter episodes, which will basically be focusing on TV shows and recommendations and just kind of chit-chatting about TV and being more loosey-goosey on our like top 5-ish television shows.
Yeah. Okay.
You're looking at me like I'm a lunatic.
And then because you're doing the sign-off before, like, I feel a beat early for me to present the two actors for the game.
Now do the game.
If you remember the game, it's like
the game.
You have an actor, you have two actors, you got to connect them together through co-stars. I'm really bad at explaining this game. I don't know why. Can you explain it better?
I could try.
You want to try?
Okay, so we have two actors, and we need to connect them through titles and co-stars in that title.
I think
we're both doing it terribly.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I did Ryan Reynolds to Matthew Perry. And so the good example of that is like Ryan Reynolds is in The Hitman's Bodyguard with Salma Hayek. And Salma Hayek is in Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry.
Boom. Done.
So, yeah, boom. I mean, you can make... Remember what Fouls was?
No, what was...
Hers was like two... There was two actors.
Yeah.
I think Sandra Bullock may have been in there. Yeah. Sandra Bullock with Proposal. Ryan Reynolds with Sandra Bullock, Proposal. And there was another person that connected to Matthew Perry.
What was the other one?
The one that I'm going to do now?
No. Someone else had one.
Oh, what was David's?
He doesn't listen to you, though.
No, I read it, and I liked it. But I can't remember what it was. Maybe he's the one that had the proposal with Sandra Bullock.
Anyways, who are your two actors?
Bill Pullman.
Okay.
To Zoe Saldana. Gamora. I try to avoid... and if you're going to use a Marvel movie, be specific about which Marvel movie. Can't just say Marvel. Are they in a movie together?
No, just...
If they end up being in a movie together, that's kind of like a... And we try.
We'll do a different one, yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking up?
I was just looking at Bill Pullman's stuff real quick to see if I could do one real quick. Because it would be awesome if I was like, oh, boom, boom, boom. Like, if it just clicked for some reason.
And sign off with it.
Yeah.
No, we want to save it for next week. We don't want to...
Okay, fine, whatever. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook. On both of those, you'll see promos. For what's coming up episode-wise. If you click on our profile, you can find our link tree. And our link tree is where you can listen to all our episodes, whether it be Spotify, Apple, YouTube. There is video of this if you're more of a watching a video type of podcast listener. That's on YouTube. And yeah, so like, comment, share your friends that are movie buffs if you think they like us. And I think that's everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Putz.
Moron.